Why you can't remember being a baby. Here's the strange truth. For the first year or two of your life, you weren't really you yet. You had a body, you had reactions, you had an impressive library of screams, but you didn't have a sense of self. The concept of I exist and I am this person doesn't kick in until around 18 to 24 months. Before that, your brain was just collecting raw sensations with no narrator connecting them. You didn't know your name, you didn't know those little hands belonged to you, and you definitely didn't know that the warm human feeding you wasn't just a deluxe food machine. Researchers illustrate this with the mirror test. A dot on a baby's nose is either wiped off their own face, meaning self-awareness, or the baby tries to clean the other baby in the mirror. So one major reason you have no memories from that time is simple. You weren't a fully defined character yet. Even if you had been, your brain at that stage was operating in a totally different state. Infant brainwaves look a lot like the ones adults show during deep meditation, dreaming, or even psychedelic experiences. Babies aren't perceiving the world the way adults do. They're basically awake inside a soft focus hallucination. Time, objects, space, even identity feel fluid and strange to them. That's why a ceiling fan can capture a baby's entire soul for 20 minutes straight. Because those early experiences happen in a dreamy, non-stable state of consciousness, they don't form the kind of memories your adult brain can retrieve later. On top of that, your brain was aggressively reorganizing itself. In the first years of life, you produce more neural connections than you'll ever have again, and then your brain begins trimming them down in a massive process called neural pruning. Think of it like clearing out storage to make room for new apps. Anything unused, confusing, or irrelevant gets deleted. Early memories, especially ones that aren't tied to language or strong emotional meaning, are some of the first to go. Your brain wasn't trying to preserve the moment you gummed a spoon for the first time. It was trying to build the fundamental systems that make thinking possible at all. And speaking of building systems, your brain at that age was learning at a rate you'll never replicate. Those years are about absorbing rules, patterns, language, motor skills, and social signals, not remembering specific episodes. Each tiny experience was like scaffolding used to build abilities such as object permanence, cause and effect, or basic communication. Once the structure was built, the scaffolding, the memory of how you learned it, was thrown away. Your brain wasn't taking notes, it was rewriting the operating system. More importantly, your brain had priorities. And spoiler, creating your personal autobiography wasn't one of them. Survival skills took center stage. Regulating your temperature, bonding with caregivers, figuring out how not to fall off things, learning what's safe and what's not. These were the tasks your brain invested energy in. Autobiographical memory, the type that tells you, "This happened to me," develops later, only after your brain graduates from basic life support mode. So you don't remember learning to crawl because your brain saw that as practical training, not something worth filing under memorable moments. And finally, infants essentially think in a different mental language, pure sensation and emotion, not words. Even if you had memories, today's brain, which relies on language and narrative, would have no way to translate that pre-verbal emotional soup into something you could consciously recall. To your adult mind, those early experiences are like corrupted files. Pieces may exist, but they can't be played back in any coherent way. The twist? Some of those early experiences might still influence you without your awareness. They can shape emotional reactions, stress responses, and unconscious preferences. You may not be able to access the memories directly, but your nervous system may still remember them. A smell that makes you uneasy, a tone of voice that triggers a reaction. Sometimes those are echoes of experiences from before you had words or self-awareness. They aren't accessible narratives, they're lingering imprints. So, in the end, you don't remember being a baby because you weren't self-aware. Your consciousness was in dream mode. Your brain deleted early files, and the language required to form accessible memories literally didn't exist yet. The memories that do survive live as instincts, reactions, and emotional residue, not stories you can retell. Baby you was busy learning how to exist, not documenting the journey.